CTV News at 5 with Hudson Mack.
The future of Sydney's popular summer market may be decided by council tonight after the municipality ousted the market's organizer last month. The market is a Sydney hotspot on warm Thursday nights from June to August, drawing thousands of people to Beacon Avenue. Last month, though, the town of Sydney terminated its agreement with the Sydney Business Association, which has run the market since it began more than a decade ago. Town officials say they have lost trust in the Business Association to run it. Businesses have also complained about the design of the market, that it cuts off access to their shops. A lawyer for the SBA says the town is required to give 6 months' notice of a change, and it may be in breach of contract.
The council and more importantly, the public, the taxpayers in Sydney, need to understand that this decision that the council seems to have made without a lot of forethought could potentially cost a lot of money. The association has committed itself to dozens of vendors. They're all going to be concerned, and there's a lot of money at stake.
Sydney Town Council is expected to review proposals from other groups that want to run the market at the meeting tonight. Business Association representatives also plan to be there to argue their case. We'll have a crew there. We'll have a full report for you tonight at 11 on CTV News with Cheryl Bloxham. Well, Victoria cyclist Ryder Hejdahl is still sporting pink as he continues to lead the pack at the Giro d'Italia. Ryder hung on to the pink jersey today. He managed to stay in the lead for the third consecutive day, avoiding a crash on the final bend that took out some of the competition in the ninth stage. Ryder spoke to CTV News by phone this morning. He says it's a great honor, but he says it's an uphill battle still ahead, and it's far from over with the competition thick.
Well, unfortunately, there's dudes about 20 kilos lighter than me that know that style well too, so it's tough, but I mean, right now they're racing, you know, it's not the big mountains, but they're still hard and decisive if you're on a bad day, so you just have to be smart and stay in there and try and conserve as much as you can.
Ryder's the first Canadian ever to wear the pink jersey for the leader of the Giro d'Italia. CTV's Myra Lawrence will have more on her conversation with him a little later in sports. A recycling company in Victoria is being forced to shut down a machine that played a part in an employee's death. WorkSafe BC has ordered Steel Pacific Recycling to shut down its separator unit after it was found that the machine was being used without adequate safeguards. 35-year-old James Tremaine was killed while working at the facility on May 5th when he got caught in a conveyor belt that feeds the machine. WorkSafe BC says the heavy equipment cannot be used until the company complies with the Workers' Compensation Act. Premier Christy Clark took a moment out of her Asia trade mission today to remember the thousands of lives lost, the people killed in last year's tsunami. The Premier laid a wreath at a shrine in Japan this morning, offering her support to the tragic-stricken country. The Premier witnessed the signing of the first memorandum between the city of Natori and the Canada Wood Group under what's known as the Canada Tohoku Reconstruction Project. That memorandum will lead to the rebuilding of a city market. Clark then paid a visit to a high school and saw some junior high students who have been temporarily placed in an elementary school. Theirs was destroyed in the tsunami. The class will take part in an exchange with a group of students from Souk later in the year. With the heat comes a warning, though, from the Coastal Fire Centre. The forest fire season is heating up already. Fire officials call it the 30-30 threat. That's when the temperature goes above 30 degrees Celsius and the humidity is less than 30%. That's when the fire risk spikes. Conditions on the island are tinder dry already. And with the long weekend coming up for the Victoria Day holiday, fire officials fear that the island's first big blaze of the season might just be days away.
We're on a warming trend, and coming from such a long, cool spring, I think people were unprepared in how hot it was and how fast it turned around. So for us, it's a concern because people may become complacent, especially considering the year that we had last year with very little fires. And we want people just to be aware, to remember what it was like before last summer, and to be careful when they're out in the woods.
It's dry here, but it's drier in the interior already. A small community near Lillooet is on fire evacuation alert. The Kamloops Fire Zone will soon ban all outdoor burning. The Nanaimo Economic Development Commission is looking for a new CEO. Susan Cudahy is no longer at the helm of the organization. After just 8 months on the job as CEO, Cudahy is leaving Nedcom, saying in a statement she will return to Ontario to seek new opportunities. Cudahy was recently the target of public criticism after outsourcing development of the NEDC website to a Toronto company. It is not clear whether she quit or was fired, and the head of the Economic Development Board will not say publicly why the decision was made.
Well, I can say this, the board and Ms. Cudahy made a decision to part company. I think to dissect or get into a whole bunch of what different people said or reported, I don't really want to get into all that. We'll look at getting a new CEO, and we'll be retaining a search firm to, I'm sure, do that work. Although the board hasn't sat down and discussed that just yet. But our anticipation is that we'll be looking for a new CEO.
The Nanaimo Economic Development Corporation is charged with marketing Nanaimo as a place to visit, to live, and to invest.